Hey there. We are back. I don't know how long it's been, Dylan. Maybe a few weeks, maybe it's even been a month, but we are back with another Turn Back the Clock. I'm Adam from Splendid Sports. This is Dylan, DoubleD Vintage Baseball Cards. And Dylan, how you doing?
Doing fantastic, Adam. Stoked to be here. Yeah, it's probably been a month. Been looking forward to talking to you. It's been hit or miss with both of our schedules. Um, yeah, so I'm pumped up. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
I mean, and that we're like wild cards here on the Sports Card Clubhouse. Like when we started this thing, going into it, Mike and Greg, they were well aware that like we're not going to be like regimented and like they're unbelievable how they produce their man on point, and they don't do this full time or anything either, like some other creators do. So I give them credit because they never miss an episode, or even if they do, they have a fill in. Whereas we're just kind of we're just wild. We're wild cards out here, and whenever we can do it, we do it. I think we're going to have this one, and then there'll be another one in 2 weeks. So that will be a set schedule. But after that, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll be rocking and rolling every 2 weeks. But we got a couple things I want to talk about today. The first one being, I went to a card show pretty recently, so I have some. I don't know if they call them hot takes or whatever, but I have some opinions on experience at card shows, and this one in particular that I want to run by and get your thoughts on. And then at the end, of course, we haven't touched on the shill bidding Dr. Beckett thing, so I think we'll come at it a little different angle than maybe some others have. At least I will. But we want to definitely touch on that and talk for a little bit about that. So yeah, let's start with the card show. So I don't know when it was. It was a few weeks ago. I hadn't been to a card show in a long time, but I went to the Shriners card show in Wilmington, Massachusetts. And the reason I went is because there was a lot of other YouTubers that were going, and like Mike Junkwax Hero, Shane Shoebox Legends. I got a chance to meet him, which was awesome. So like that was what really brought me to the card show. And that it was just awesome meeting those guys and hanging out for a little bit. But what I wanted to kind of really talk about on that is Mike mentioned this a little bit, and it was funny because when he said it, it was already in my head. Like at the card show, I only got one card at the whole card show, and it was a card that I had already bought, and the dealer was just bringing it to the show. So I really didn't buy anything at the show the whole time. I walked around, I tried, but for me, I think I don't really have a lot of cards that I want to buy at this point that you're going to see at a card show. What I'm looking for. I was looking for like the rare Pedro Martinez card in the boxes and stuff. I didn't find anything like that, or maybe a Larry Bird card I hadn't had before. But and the vintage cards, kind of like we got. They had some awesome cards there, but they just didn't have the eye appeal I was looking for, or maybe I already
Yep.
had them. I think I said to Shane as we were walking around, I was like, if I came to this show like 3 years ago, I'd be going crazy. I'd be buying everything. But I had bought so many cards over the last few years that pretty much everything I saw either already had or it didn't like meet what I was looking for, So I guess I'm pretty particular too with this type of thing. So for me, at least, the card show, going to a card show is just going to all be about the social aspect of it. Meeting up with, if there's an opportunity to meet with other people. But I don't know what would be like if you could go to another card show. I know you don't have many in your area, but if like, would you be interested in doing that at this point? You think you would buy a lot like you did at that national that we both went to in 2023? You got a decent amount there. Would it be different now, you think, or what do you think?
Yeah, it would be different, but I for one, because I don't have card shows, right?
Yeah.
I They're like walking into Toys R Us when you're a kid and you go through the sliding doors and the long hallway, and then Toys R Us opens up. It's a magical feeling. And I don't think that's ever going to go away. Even if I had a card show, across the street every single weekend, and there's guys talking about like small shows or 200 tables. I'm like, 200
Yeah.
tables? I would die for 200 tables. I've got one table at our local little show once a month here. One, and he's got like, there's nothing. There's nothing. I know exactly what card every guy has. I, for one, for that feeling alone, that would get me to every single card show. And knowing that there could be one card there that really strikes me. But I do remember last national when I went, it's a running joke. Lou Rock always talks about it. I came back to the house and I go, man, there were two centered baseball cards, tops baseball cards at the entire national, and I bought both of them. So what you're saying about being picky and not, not finding the right copies of certain cards and trying to find a card in general, it's getting extremely difficult. And it is funny because the first national I went to, I came home and I probably had 15 cards. And so it wasn't that difficult. And I was on the centering kick, but I wasn't that strict. I wasn't that focused. And I was when I just sold off all my sevens, like millions of cards. So I had money to play with, had cards I could pick up. Fast forward, on YouTube, 3 years, collecting with friends, really focusing on my collecting goals and my certain things more, man, I would struggle big time to find a card that suits my eye and suits my price and suits all the things that I need at a card show. But with that said, I can't ever see myself getting sick of going. And even if I was going by myself and I didn't even have friends to hang out with, when I'm at a card show, I really don't talk to anybody. I'm kind of like Mike, Junk Wax Hero. Like I'm a solo session guy, except for a few guys that like Candyman Ken's cardboard. Me and him really we hit it off when we walk around the shows together. It's kind of like finding your wife and being able to do things with her, finding the right person you do certain things together with. But as if Ken wasn't there, I just go on my own and wander the floor for 6 hours by myself. I don't really want to be, I mean, it's cool to be with someone, but it's really hard too because you're just not into the same things. And you're like trying to find different
Yeah.
things. I think like a show that everybody talks about, Strongsville, knowing that everyone is around you and you're also by yourself, you can just yell at someone across the room. To me, that sounds like best of all worlds. I get to look, mostly likely I'll find a card I want. All my friends are within earshot and eye vision of me. Kind of just hits all the things. And when you were at that show and I heard, I know our buddy Shane was there. I've been trying to get Shane to go to the national. Every year I was going. That's a guy I really, really want to meet. Like, if more than anyone in the entire hobby that I have not met, I want to meet Shane face to face. So when you guys when you hung out with him or at least saw him, I was so jealous. I was like, oh, if I could just. You guys are always whining about, there's card shows over here. Everyone's talking. I'm like, God, you guys have no idea. I am literally on an island,
Well,
no
like
one.
everyone I've met from YouTube, Shane was cooler than even you'd think he would be. He's like everyone lives up to. I've
Yeah.
never been like, oh man, they're way different in person or whatever. So yeah, it was great hanging out with. I mean, and it was there's a whole list of people that I'm sure everyone by now has seen who was there, and Dan's Vintage Baseball PC and Dom Staven Sports Cards and Jake Wax Pack Wisdom. I mean, there was just a bunch of people there, and it was great to meet most of them for the first time, really. So it was a good experience, and I'm glad I went, and I'll go again. I guess I was a little like going in. I was like, all right, I brought some cards. Like I went through my collection and I picked out it was about 5 pretty valuable cards that I was like, I'm going to either sell these or I'm going to bring them to the show and maybe I'll like work a deal with a dealer. I'll try to sell it to a dealer or a trade or something like that. So I brought them with me. I had my backpack and everything. And then when I get there, I don't know if I'm lazy or what, or I just get, I get like, I'm not used to it. Right. Like
It's weird.
I don't go
It's
to
weird.
many. So like, and it was kind of crowded. So like, there's not a lot of room to maneuver sometimes. And like, you're trying to look through something and someone's next to you, and but the point is like, I didn't end up doing any of that. Guess what I did? I was like, at the end, I was like, well, I still got these cards. So I didn't have the energy or the whatever to try to make a deal with any of these dealers. So I just
Did you
went
sell
over
me a
to,
repacker?
no, I did a mystery pack. No, what I did is I went to 4 Sharp Corners and I consigned them. I just
Oh,
went right.
sick.
I was like, whatever. It One was a Yaz rookie PSA 7, 1960
Wow.
Yaz rookie. Another one was a Bill Walton rookie PSA 8. So it was like, higher grade stuff that, I mean, I'm thinking probably at least get like $4,000 for everything I consign. Actually, they're up for auction now, and I won't be bidding on any of my own cards, just so everyone knows. But I was like, I guess I'm just lazy, because I was like, you know what? Instead of trying to like work all these deals or whatever, I was like, I didn't see anything I really wanted to buy, so I was like, here, let me just consign these, and it was good. So it got me thinking, like, for someone like me, I mean, I'll go to these card shows just to meet up with guys, the social aspect. Even if I don't buy anything, it's worth it for me. But if I'm going to go to a card show, someone like me, I am looking more, and I don't know if this could go out to any of the card show promoters or anything like that, but I'd be very interested. Like, I'm looking to like consign cards, to like, if PSA can get at some of these shows, like, I would love to take some of these older slab PSA cards or even some SGC ones and try to cross them over or submit them. Cause like, I don't want to send any of these cards in the mail right now with everything I'm hearing. Right. So like,
Yeah, no way.
I have a big interest. If I can go to some of these shows and actually, like, instead of even buying a lot of stuff, using it to like grade cards, or upgrade the slab or whatever to the newer slab from some of these older ones, uh trying to cross over, consign, like, that's the type of thing that, where I'm at with my collection, I'm more in that mode, where instead of like even acquiring new stuff, I'm trying to, like, I guess, optimize what I have already. So I see a lot of value in that, at going to card shows, because the more I do it, like, I would rather do that stuff in person right now if I can. I don't really want to ship valuable cards to PSA or to really anything right now. I've kind of lost confidence in that. Nothing's ever happened to me, but I've seen so much with like lost packages and all this stuff, that I see a lot of value if like PSA or some of these companies can get more regional, like, have like a branch almost in some of these bigger cities where you could do that in person. I think that would be pretty valuable. That'd be something that I'd be interested in doing. So, oh.
No, I love it. And the whole thing, like bringing cards to trade at a card show. Dude, the first national I went to, I had a whole box of cards, and it's embarrassing. I'm definitely not a guy who, can go around and film card shows. Like,
No,
dude, I'm
me
not
either.
taking my camera out. I'm not, I'd be sweating. I'd be so embarrassed. And so I feel so weird about it. And that goes for like bringing a box of cards and going to a dealer and handing them your box of cards and be like, do you want any of my baseball cards? Can you trade? Dude. So I did that at the first national, man. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm just going to do it. I flew across the country. I went to every single table at that national, and only one guy was willing to trade with me for the cards that I had. And that was when I got the 52 Bowman Mickey Mantle, the
That worked out.
greatest trade of my whole life.
Yep.
Value for value. I was trading leaders cards, a whole stack of low cards for one big card, and I got full comps, like all the way equal. It blew my mind. But I literally wasted 8 hours just taking these cards to every single dealer, when for me, like, Greg texted me like a month ago or something, because I just sold off 100 cards, and he's like, why don't you just sell them on your channel? And I'm going, dude, the last thing I ever want to do is sell them on my channel and have to email someone back and forth nonstop to get one card, when I can take them all, give them to a consigner, pay whatever fee it is gonna be. I sent them all to Greg Morris and some to Fanatics, and I don't have to do anything. I did to pack all them up one time. And like you said, if you had a card show, you can go over and just drop them off straight to the people. It's worth the money. But with that said, I have decided I'm going to be selling some cards on my channel, which is funny
All
because
right.
I am. That's for a future thing. But I have a stack going. I'm going to do that. But I don't, it's not going to be something that I enjoy, like emailing people back. So I have to figure out a solution, a way to do it. And yeah, card show to bring a box of cards and hand them to a consigner. That would be, if man, I would do that all the time.
It was
Be
really
awesome.
easy because, I've used four shop cards before. I was always like, kind of like, I don't know, the consignment thing. Like, I was like, I could just do it myself, right? Like, I just put it up on my own eBay, and then I was like, yeah, if I'm selling like if it's just one card, that's one thing because it's about the same amount of work, really,
Yeah.
to just ship a card. But if you're selling like even 5 like this, it's way easier to just put them all in the one box and send them and they'll do everything else. And let alone if there's a bunch of cards. So, and it's the same with like, again, these consigners, they sell them on eBay and it's like lower percentage than you'd pay selling them yourself on eBay. So
Totally.
it
Yep.
really makes a lot of sense to do that. And again, if I can do that in person, I'm all for it. Cause like, I just don't want to, I'm not cool with shipping stuff right now unless I have to. So yeah, if I could do these like grading things and selling cards in person, handing them off, that for me, that's worth the drive up right there to a card show and the price of admission, $15 or whatever it was to get in the card. Even if I don't buy anything, but I just do that. And then also obviously if there's any type of like meetup or anything, it's cool, it's fun, and it was a good card show. I mean, it was very crowded, and it was funny because the one I was walking around and like to your point, I have a hard time multitasking. So like if I'm trying to look at cards, I have a hard time focusing on like having a conversation with someone. But we were just Shane and I were walking around and like looking through tables and really just wasn't finding anything. And then I'm just looking down, like I don't even know whose table or and then I'm looking like, oh man, I'm like, look at this. Like it was a Larry Bird card, like a patch card that I knew right away, like, ooh, I like that. Like that would be something. And then I look up, I'm like, how much for this Larry Bird card? And I look up and the guy's like, those aren't for sale. It was Heritage Auctions. And he's like, those are in our
worst.
Yeah, like those are going to be in our blah, 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 elite showcase, whatever it is. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, sorry, I thought you were just a dealer. So like, I was just in the zone. But then like, so it was like the only cards I really would have bought at that show were ones I can't buy, So it was just, and that's just me, like just where I'm at and how I collect now. I'm not going for a big collection. I'm very specific. So that was just my thoughts on it. And then when I heard Mike say that too, Mike was on his channel saying he's very specific on how he collects now. So card shows are really not, I don't know how he put it, but not his thing or whatever. But to his point, it's all worth it when you get to hang out with some guys for a few hours. And I wish I could have gone to the meetup after. I stopped by for like a minute, but I had to go. But yeah, things like that make it really, really cool, really fun. So I'll try to do like that. If I could do that even once a year, like locally at a meetup like that's something that I put a lot of value on. So it was a good experience, and I think that's all I have to say about the card show.
You say you got one card?
Yeah, I did. It was a Tom Brady 2001 gold out of 100. He's only got 3 cards. Think about this, right? So Tom Brady, I know you're not a football guy, but you appreciate that's what I've been trying to get across. Like a lot of when I talk Tom Brady on YouTube, I don't get a lot of views on those, and it's because it's mostly baseball on YouTube, and people hate Tom Brady because he beat their ass for 20 years. So I get it. But what my point is, like when I talk about my Tom Brady collecting, I hope other people can connect to it, not because of Tom Brady, but because of like the collecting ideas that I'm talking about and what I'm like going after and runs and so forth. So hopefully it can be applied to any player and relate to. But think about this: Tom Brady, the GOAT of football. So I think it would be like Ohtani or Messi or Michael Jordan, LeBron James, these guys. If that's a good one, LeBron James. His rookie year was 2003. In 2004, I don't know the number, but his second year, I'm guessing he probably had like hundreds of, or not hundreds, but maybe 50 different brands of cards that second year, and then probably like thousands of different cards in his second year. Tom Brady had in his second year had 3 cards. It was 3 brands that put out a card of his because he was expected to be a career backup or whatever. So the card companies didn't make any cards before he won that Super Bowl, other than his rookie year. But his second year, he's got 3 cards. So I was able to get playoff National Treasures. It's real popular now, National Treasures, but this was like the playoff National Treasures, which I think became the big brand for Panini. But that's a gold out of 100. And I ended up buying it online a few weeks before that, and I picked it up in person because, again, the dealer I bought it from, Kevin the captain, he was like, I don't really like shipping these type of cards anymore, even locally. So I was like, well, I'll just pick it up at the Shriner show. So it worked out well. But yeah, it's pretty interesting that a player of Brady's magnitude in their second year would only have 3 total cards. That's pretty crazy when you think about it. It'd be like
Dude,
Ohtani in 2018 having only 3 cards.
Dude, that's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And Adam, I get inspired by you all the time. I get inspired by Chris, Hoj. I get inspired. I could name hundreds of guys who do not collect how I collect or what I collect, but it's those thoughts, it's those ideas, it's the concepts, it's how they think about collecting itself. Our buddy Dave, Iowa Dave, he listens to that podcast about collecting, and it all different collecting things, not even baseball stuff. I haven't tried that podcast out, but I imagine I would love it because it's really it gives just a different perspective on how, like you say, I could find another way to collect a certain guy and copy how you're doing it with Brady. Get inspired and be like, wow, he did it with that. I'm going to try and collect every rookie of this player, Ichiro. Like it's possible. So yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah.
I
And for me,
I
it's
have
more about
nothing against it.
the coolest thing is like it's almost less about the player and more about like the story of the hobby at the time and the brands and for me it's more of that. Like I'm more interested in that than even like Brady so much. It's just you get so deep into it where you start getting more into like the Pacific cards and again he only had 3 cards in this year, so it's kind of almost in a certain way the player becomes like secondary to what you're going after with like how the cards are in the hobby at that point in time. And I find that way more interesting than Michael Jordan was awesome and Kobe Bryant, it was awesome. I like hearing more about like in their second year they had 3 cards total, because I like those type of stories. Now I'm kind of deep diving on a lot of the stuff with the going back in time, so it's pretty fun.
Dude, I love that, Adam. So remember when we first started doing this 3+ years ago, or whenever that was, I just I never thought I would dive into knowing about the cards. And I was always like, whatever, that's somebody else's thing. Like how hard I wasn't collecting modern then either. But like, so in my take was like the vintage guys, like, how did this come in the pack? I never really cared. I was like, whatever, I just want the card. I love the card. It was about the card and even not even about the sport either. But now, like collecting this modern stuff and the Japanese collection that I'm creating, I'm really digging it. Like you're talking about learning about the card itself. And like me and my Mickey Mantle card number 7 collection, it was like, it started out because I wanted to collect the Mickey Mantles because I've been selling them my whole life. And then you got me thinking about the rare ones. That turned into learning about the rarity of the card. That turned into learning about card number 7, which I didn't even
Yeah.
know. It wasn't even a reason for me to collect Mantle. That wasn't even part of it. And then it just snowballs. And now I'm really, every card I get, that's why I love making my own labels too for my cards. I put so much information on there that it tells me every time I pick up that card, I learn about that card again and it gets clicked into my brain. And anyone that sees my collection can pick up any one of my cards that's in one of my slabs and know exactly how rare it is, where it came from, a significance of this or that, all kinds of cool stuff. I never thought I'd be into that. So I'm with you, man. Like my Mike Trout collection, it's like more about the like getting my Bowman Chrome run and finding, the 2017 of his in the gold. That's more important than getting a Mike Trout. I want the gold. I want this to fit here. It's dude, you said it so well. It's exactly what I love. So it is becoming less about, I still love the players,
Yeah.
we still love the players. Obviously, it's how it starts. It either starts with loving of collecting, loving of the cards, or love of the game, or love of the players.
Yep.
Oh yeah, love it, Adam.
All right. So we in the last few minutes here, this episode, I wanted to talk to you about. I think I sent a text to you, kind of joking, like if you took a break from watching hobby content stuff or like following it on social media for let's say a few weeks, like a few weeks ago, and then you just started a few days back, like catching up on things. When you left, Dr. Beckett, on the hobby Mount Rushmore, right? Like I never heard a bad word said about him. And you and I have complimented him all those so many times, right? And then you come in and then like all these videos are like, lumping Dr. Beckett in with shill bitters. And I mean, there was I've heard some pretty tough things said about Dr. Beckett on YouTube and social media and so forth. I think a lot of the people that said a lot of these things probably didn't seem like they even listened to the episode. It was kind of like they heard it secondhand. And so for me, I was pretty shocked although I shouldn't have been, because that's kind of my point with this is I was pretty shocked at not Dr. Beckett's episode, but I was more shocked at the response at first from people to that episode. Cause I listened to it and I at first, I was a little, I had a few questions and so forth, but if you actually listen to the first episode, and Dr. Beckett has mentioned this before, in a scenario, he was talking about a scenario where he didn't shill bid, but he was raising a hypothetical that, it was a tough situation where it was mislisted and it was for a friend. And so he was just kind of posing different, circumstances, right? But then next thing you know, people are calling him a shill bidder and lumping him in with people who actually did shill bid and saying all these other things. And I don't really know Dr. Beckett very well. We've been on a few episodes together. I met him in person. He was very nice that time I met him. He signed my Beck. But even aside from that, it was just like, it's crazy how I personally think that social media and people's attention spans, I think society's really going downhill in many ways with this stuff. It's crazy how people pile on people now. Like, I mean, back in the day, like I used to think like before social media, before even the internet, right? Like people would still like, gossip and talk trash about people and stuff. But now you got people that literally just like in comments are saying things they would never ever say to someone's face, right? But they're just saying these crazy things that a lot of them aren't even true. So I just been thinking a lot about that. Like, I like doing this, like coming on here talking, and I say stupid things too now and then, but it was kind of wild for me to just be like, in a matter of like, Dr. Beckett think about all he did in the hobby for decades and decades. And then he had one episode and all of a sudden now people are like, oh, it's over for Dr. Beckett and all this stuff. It was pretty crazy to think like, if that can happen to Dr. Beckett, we're all screwed, man. Like no one's got any hope of doing it. If like someone with that much respect and credibility and built up capital in this hobby can go from in a matter of literally like one day can go from where he was to what people are talking about now. And I think that will subside, but it was just nuts to me really to see like, and it's just it's a sign of where we are with politics and society and everything. And it's kind of sad in a way. And it makes me want to go away from social media and a lot of this stuff, honestly. But that's just me. I don't know. What do you think?
All right. So, I want to give my little take on that whole thing too. I heard the first episode. First, I was pretty baffled why he had P. Ryan on there. And then as the episode went on, it wasn't the thing that shocked me wasn't that Beckett told that story about selling cards for his friend and all that. I had heard that before. He said that years ago.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I knew this story. I think he said it like 4 times at least. I've heard him say it a lot. That wasn't my issue. My issue was that he made it sound like it was just okay for the things that P. Ryan did, whether it's a mistake or not. I thought the whole episode was not, he didn't come across well, in my opinion. The way he talked, it was a lot of people saying how smart they were, and I'll combine all 3 episodes in my brain right now because they all 3 episodes that Dr. Beckett put out, to me, he just took the shovel and dug himself deeper and deeper in the hole. And then telling us how smart he is. And I called him God once, on an episode. Of course, I'm being ridiculous, right? I'm joking when I say that stuff, but this is serious. And I do not think Dr. Beckett is a bad human being. I do not think that he's out there shill bidding. I don't think that he does not deserve to go to jail. In fact, he's not off my totem pole of a respected human. I would, I'll still shake his hand. I'll still say hi to him. Did he get knocked off where he was in my brain? More of a disappointment. And I'll still listen to his podcast if he continues on, which I hope he does, and still listen to his opinions. And I'll take them for what they are, and what they are, just like ours, their opinions. And I respect when he speaks. I've always listened, and I think he's wise to the hobby. Now, I'm not saying what he did was right. I think shill bidding is ridiculous.
Well, hold
It's
on.
ups.
Let me just
Okay.
when you said he did, P. Ryan was the one who shill bid. Dr. Beckett
Yes.
did not shill bid. Like that.
Yes.
That's what I agree. Like,
Yes.
and I think Dr. Beckett would even say, like, that was not a great episode for me. Things came off.
That's what he should have said. That's what he should have done.
I've heard him say that already. He's, but
yeah, I guess he did kind of.
Yeah, and he, believe me, he doesn't need. I'm not defending anything, but what I'm saying is, it was just crazy that to me it was like, you see this a lot, right? Like people, there's degrees to things. Like there's a difference between actually shill bidding, and then giving an opinion on shill bidding is what
Yeah.
And you might say that's a terrible opinion, totally but like, go to jail. What are you talking for? What? Like, what are they people talking about? Like, I understand if you're a shill bidder, yes, that I guess that can be illegal.
Yes.
But like sharing opinions and like hypotheticals, those are two completely different things. Yet at the end of it, people were lumping them both in together. And for me, that was crazy. And you see that with other things too, like, without going into other situations in life, but a lot of times it's like, false equivalency out there, right? And that's what I was seeing is like, you totally disagree. Like, it's like, for example, I could say, in some, I think marijuana is not bad. I don't think it's a bad thing, right? But in some states, it's illegal. So if I go to Texas where it's illegal, and I say I think smoking marijuana is not a bad thing, people could say, "Oh, am I going to jail because because it's against the law in Texas that I shared an opinion?" Whereas if you did smoke marijuana in Texas, that's breaking a law, But if I say it should be legal, or I think that's a bad law, that's a completely different thing. You don't go to jail for that. So that for me, that was like the crazy part.
Yeah, I hear you there. But yeah, I mean, the world, what do we love? What does everyone love more than anything? A guy who's at the very top, making a mistake and falling all the way to the bottom. Because everybody who didn't like that person to begin with is hooting and hollering and saying, I never liked him. I never cared for him. I always knew there was something wrong. And that's just how it is. It sucks. It is what it is. Like, one of us could say something dumber, and no one has us on this pedestal except
Luckily we're at the bottom, so it doesn't matter, right?
Only our closest friends, could think of us differently, right? So it's tough. But I'm gonna make an opinion here about shill bidding, how I think things are going so far on the other end of the spectrum, which is like, dude. All right, so Dan, what's Dan's page? Is
Dan's Vintage Baseball PC?
Dan's Vintage Baseball PC. Yeah, the worst that
great
the
name
name.
By the way, met him at the
love
show.
Dan.
Great guy.
Love Dan. Listen to a podcast with him and Dave today. It was so good.
Yep.
So
Sports Card Clubhouse.
So he recently, they were doing the live auctions, and our friend Matt, the card story, was selling cards, consigning cards at CIA auctions, and Dan would not bid on those cards because they are his friends' cards. That is not shill bidding. Now, he wasn't offered those cards from Matt. Matt didn't call him up and say, hey, you want to buy these cards? And not even that. But even if Matt called him and said, hey, you want to buy these cards? This is the price. And Dan's like, no, I'll pass. Let him go at auction, and maybe I'll be able to swoop in and get it cheaper. Maybe he doesn't come up with I don't see anything wrong. If you want the card of your friends, please, by all means, bid it. buy it. That's the whole point.
Right.
Where would our cards go if they don't go to our other friends? If I consign my cards to CIA, I hope they do a little thing. Hey, these are Dylan's cards. Buy them. It doesn't. That is
By the
not
way,
shill
if
bidding.
you go on Instagram right now, pretty much half the people I follow, their stories are just them sharing links to their auctions.
Yeah.
So that's not shill
Nothing
bidding,
wrong
right?
with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, so
Nothing wrong with
it's the
that.
same thing. But shill bidding, we know what it is. It's bad.
Yes,
We're
we
not
know what
saying
it is.
don't do it. It's not good to do. Like, so there's no just everyone's agreeing on that. I even heard Dr.
Exactly.
Beckett say that. He was on today.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's, a little over the whole. I think Dr. Beckett had a bad episode there, but what became of it was, I mean, that was kind of
he deserves our forgiveness. And if you don't believe in forgiveness, just your acceptance of just him getting lost in his own words. I mean, dude, there's things that he said that I thought were straight up dumb, and it made him sound arrogant and cocky. But it doesn't make him a bad human being, and I forgive him. I don't think he did it. I don't think he shill bid. I know he didn't shill bid, and I don't think that he's been out there corrupting us this whole time with the Beckett, and all the Beckett prices were off. No way. If anyone, this guy didn't even collect cards during the whole period, and he made it clear. I just, no one else in this industry stops collecting cards if they work for a card company, and I don't expect them to. I don't want them to, because I want them to understand what's going on in the hobby. So,
and I think a lot of it was like, because I don't know how many of the people that were sounding off. I mean, I've listened to a lot of his for probably 4 years. I've listened to his podcast, not every single one, but a lot of them. And so you feel like if you listen to someone that much, you feel like you get a good feel for the person, right? Like, so for me, it was just crazy to be like, man, the heat he's getting now for that. If people think he's the problem in the hobby, then we're all
doomed. We're all doomed.
If that's who you're going after, Dr. Beckett, I mean, there's plenty of other fish to fry, in my opinion, if that's what you're trying to do. But yeah, if so, he never. Every episode I've ever listened to him, he was like, he came across as the exact he was completely like, he would be above board, ethical with everything. And like, so yeah, he had one, and then all of a sudden that's all it takes. Like, it takes one bad episode.
I would say it took,
where it wasn't like he was like, oh yeah, I shill bid that. That's what people were making it out like he confessed to some history of shill bidding or something. He didn't. So I don't know.
To me, I mean, for me, my own self, it disturbed me a lot of the things that he said. I don't know if I guess once you have P. Ryan on, and then you have that conversation, and some things got said that were arrogant and cocky, and to me sounded like we're all dumb, idiots are getting cards. I didn't like a lot of things that were said, and it wasn't. And I just want to make sure that I'm not a fanboy.
I'm not defending P. Ryan. Like, I don't know him really.
So I'm definitely not defending P. Ryan. I didn't even know he existed till then.
Yeah,
but
so a lot of the bad things were from him. So
even Beckett. I mean, I'm bummed out. I thought he said some really dumb things, and even saying you're a smart person can be dumb. I had a lot of more problems than maybe how it's coming across. So I don't want people think I'm like, I just forgive him. Okay. I forgive, and I will move on, and I will continue to listen to him talk. But I also think that he owes all of us an apology. I think the words that he used at times were inappropriate, and that had nothing to do with the shill beating. To me, it came across wrong. But I say dumb things all the time, so who am I? Who am I to judge? Like, I'm like, dude. So there we go.
I'm certainly not judging. I've said so many stupid things. Yeah. So yeah.
Me too. So I guess we said what needed to be said, and if people aren't gonna like me for the things that I've said during this episode, that's fine too. Yeah. That's it. I guess we can put this to bed. I forgive you. I forgive you, Mr. Beckett.
Yeah, well, that's it. So that's this episode, guys. Appreciate you watching. Subscribe to the Sports Card Clubhouse if you haven't yet on podcast and YouTube, and we'll be back with another one. Thanks, guys.